It's been quite a while since the PlayStation 5 Pro was announced, and only now is the console really starting to show its true potential. I picked mine up shortly after release, and after using it for over 6 months, I can confidently say I'm ready to give an honest review of the PS5 Pro. So, let's get started. 2025 promises to be one of the most packed years in terms of releases, and already there are games emerging that really let you evaluate the potential of this new version. Yeah, that's why when the PS5 Pro went on sale, I immediately bought it. Let me start with the appearance, which gave me a positive impression. The console's design made a strong impact. It looked premium, and the stripes in the center added a sense of uniqueness. But there were a few quirks. While my old PS5 Fat sat nicely both horizontally under the TV and vertically with the included stand, the PS5 Pro slightly surprised me. From what I understood, the console, with its small legs acting as a stand, was meant to lie flat only, which I didn't like at all. So I ordered a special wall mount stand to make PS5 Pro look great next to TV. One of the main advantages of the PS5 Pro is the increased internal storage. Instead of the standard 825 gigabytes like on the regular PS5, it now offers a full 2 terabytes. I personally downloaded a ton of games and still had nearly a whole terabyte of free space left. The dimensions of the PS5 Pro are a bit different, and visually the main distinction is still those same 3 stripes. One thing that immediately stood out was the notch on the glossy panel. For comparison, take a look at my PS5 Pro and PS5 Fat side by side. The PS5 Pro became more compact and easier to carry, though the difference isn't huge. Yes, it's easier to transport, but that's mainly because my version doesn't have a disk drive, which affects the overall size. People often ask me whether I plan to buy a disk drive, and while at first my answer was a clear yes, now that I've spent some time with the console, I'm not so sure, especially if you have a PS Plus subscription where new games come out every month, even if not always great ones. Unfortunately, even with a disc, you won't avoid the need to download massive updates. For example, Hogwarts Legacy requires an additional 36 gigabytes download, and Spider-Man 2 a full 50. Just popping in a disc and playing right away like in the old days is no longer an option. At launch, the PS5 Pro received a lot of criticism, and was met with skepticism from many players who couldn't see any real advantages. And at the time, I completely understood the hate. No clear announcements from Sony Studios, no games that clearly demonstrated the difference between the regular PS5 and the Pro version. After all, the only way to truly judge the visuals is to actually play the same games on PS5 Pro. You can't always spot the difference in YouTube reviews. Now I finally had the chance to test the very visuals that used to run in quality mode at 30 frames per second on the regular PS5, but now run at 60 on the PS5 Pro. But here's a small spoiler right away. Not all games on the PS5 Pro with improved graphics run at a stable 60 FPS. Sometimes it's just a balanced mode, but more on that a bit later. I was especially surprised by the technology that enhances visuals in PS4 games. As usual, I decided to replay Uncharted again, and after turning on the corresponding option in the settings, I immediately noticed the difference. Although at launch there were screenshots and videos claiming that the image actually got blurrier, in reality, after some time and a few updates, the picture really did get better. Just look at the sharpness of objects, the level of detail, the vegetation, the outlines. Everything looks different and much improved. The image on the PS5 Pro looks significantly better. In some games, the difference feels like a tenfold improvement. Take Watch Dogs 2 as an example. It clearly shows how much sharper and richer the visuals can get. Sure, that doesn't change the fact that even with the Pro version, you'll still be playing Red Dead Redemption 2 at 30 FPS. But that's no longer the console's fault. It's on Rockstar, a studio that still hasn't optimized the game for the current generation. Why that is remains a mystery. Of course, the most interesting part was comparing the graphics on the PS5 Pro and the regular PS5. The first thing I did was open up my PS Plus subscription, and I was a bit disappointed. There weren't that many enhancements specifically for the Pro, but in reality, the vast majority of major games have already received Pro optimizations, and with each new title released, the list keeps growing. For comparison, I picked Demon's Souls, the original Death Stranding, the remaster of the first Spider-Man, and as the main example, Assassin's Creed Shadows. It was exactly for new releases like this that I bought the console. In Demon's Souls, the difference is noticeable right away. Richer effects, more stable visuals, and especially better sharpness and draw distance. With Death Stranding, it's the same story, but the improvements are especially noticeable in close-ups. In the Spider-Man remaster, turning on Pro mode surprisingly makes the image less dull. That's actually why I usually find it hard to go back to the first part after playing the second. With Assassin's Creed Shadows, things were a bit trickier. At first, Ubisoft didn't release a patch for the PS5 Pro, and I had to play in balanced mode at 40 FPS, which was really disappointing, since this was the game that made me want to buy the console in the first place. The patches are out now, with PSSR activated in performance mode. Ray tracing and many details look almost as good as the quality mode on the regular PS5, but now with 60 FPS. To me, it's obvious, new hardware always delivers sharper visuals and better performance, and you can clearly see that difference. Now let's talk about who should buy the PS5 Pro, and who will be fine with a regular PS5 Fat or Slim. The main argument for upgrading is the release of GTA 6. I'm confident that the game will still run at 60 FPS in performance mode on the base PS5, but it's hard to say what the graphics will be like. Now for those who already own a regular PS5. Like I mentioned earlier, the difference becomes noticeable only when the PS5 Pro becomes your main console. But if I didn't own one, I probably wouldn't even know that the visuals could be better. So it's simple. If you want to see improved graphics, the upgrade is a great option. And for those who don't have a PS5 at all, I definitely recommend getting the PS5 Pro right away. Just don't fantasize or build up unrealistic expectations. The PS5 Pro is not a new generation. It's an enhanced version of the same PS5, faster CPU, better performance, sharper image. If you want more power within the 9th generation, get the Pro and enjoy it comfortably until the end of the cycle. And that's basically it. That's my honest review of the PlayStation 5 Pro, and I can say that the Pro version isn't a revolution, it's an evolution. But if you truly value image quality, stable FPS, and want to get the most out of current-gen games, the difference is noticeable. Personally, the Switch was totally worth it for me, and now I can't imagine going back to a regular PS5. Of course, this isn't just an upgrade for the sake of upgrading. It's a step forward for those who play often and want more, and the best there is. If you're still on the fence, think about how important comfort and visuals are to you in games, and if you're just about to enter the PlayStation world, go straight for the Pro and get the full experience from day one. Thanks for watching all the way through. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. There's a lot more exciting stuff ahead. Happy gaming, and I'll hope to see you in the next video.